First contact. The vast emptiness of space stretched out before the Imperial scout ship Celestial Seeker. Captain Zora Vox, a seasoned Alfarian with iridescent scales and 4 piercing eyes, stood at the helm. Her slender fingers danced across the holographic controls as she guided the ship towards the outer reaches of a long-forgotten solar system. "Status report," Zora commanded, her voice carrying a hint of anticipation. Her second-in-command, a stocky Brennarian named Kroll, consulted the ship's sensors. "We're approaching the coordinates, Captain. Preliminary scans show 9 planets orbiting a yellow dwarf star." Zora's antenna twitched with excitement. Any signs of civilization? Kroll's heavy brow furrowed as he studied the readouts. Nothing yet, but wait. He paused, his eyes widening. "Captain, I'm detecting an energy signature. It's unlike anything I've ever seen." Zora leaned forward, her scales shifting colors in response to her growing curiosity. On screen, the main view screen flickered to life, revealing a blue-green planet third from the sun. But it wasn't the planet itself that caught their attention. Surrounding the world was an intricate network of structures, gleaming in the starlight. "By the cosmic egg," Zora breathed, using an oath so old its origin had been lost to time. "Is that Earth?" For 3 millennia, the birthplace of humanity had been nothing more than a legend in the Galactic Empire. After a brief period of early interstellar exploration, Earth had suddenly cut off all contact, vanishing from the galactic stage. Now it seemed they had finally emerged from their self-imposed exile. "Captain," Kroll's gruff voice interrupted her thoughts. "We're being hailed." Zara straightened her posture, smoothing her uniform. On screen, the image of Earth was replaced by the face of a human. The being before them appeared female, with striking silver hair and eyes that seemed to shimmer with an inner light. "Greetings, visitors," the human spoke, her voice melodious and clear. "I am Dr. Ilara Vance, Earth's chief diplomat. Welcome to the Sol system." Zara blinked in surprise. The human was speaking in perfect High Imperial, a language usually reserved for the most elite circles of the Empire. "Greetings, Dr. Vance," Zara replied, recovering quickly. "I am Captain Zora Vox of the Imperial scout ship Celestial Seeker. We were not expecting to find Earth so advanced." Dr. Vance smiled, an expression that somehow managed to be both warm and enigmatic. "Much has changed in 3,000 years, Captain. We've been busy." Zara's mind reeled at the implications. The structures they had seen, the energy readings, the mastery of Imperial language, all pointed to a level of advancement far beyond what the Empire had achieved. "We would be honored to learn more," Zara said carefully. "Perhaps we could arrange a meeting." "Of course," Dr. Vance nodded. "We'll transmit docking coordinates to your ship. We look forward to hosting you on Earth." As the transmission ended, Zara turned to her crew, their faces a mix of excitement and apprehension. "Well," she said, a hint of a smile playing on her lips, "it seems we're in for quite the adventure." The Celestial Seeker approached Earth, guided by the coordinates provided. As they drew closer, the true scale of Earth's transformation became apparent. Massive space stations orbited the planet, their designs unlike anything in the Empire. Ships of various sizes and shapes zipped between the structures, their movements precise and graceful. "Captain," Kroll called out, his voice tight with tension. "Our sensors, they can't penetrate the planet's atmosphere. It's like there's some kind of energy field." Zara nodded, her own unease growing. What kind of technology could block Imperial sensors so completely? As they approached one of the larger space stations, a docking bay opened, bathing their ship in a soft blue light. With practiced ease, Zora guided the Celestial Seeker into the bay, setting it down gently on the gleaming floor. "Atmosphere reads as breathable," Kroll reported. "Gravity at Earth standard." Zara took a deep breath, steeling herself for what was to come. "All right, team. Let's make history." The airlock cycled open, and Zara led her small delegation out onto the station. They were immediately struck by the vast, open space of the docking bay. It seemed to stretch for kilometers, filled with ships of designs so varied and advanced that they defied easy categorization. Dr. Vance stood waiting for them, flanked by a small group of humans. Each appeared unique, some with subtle cybernetic enhancements, others with skin tones and features that hinted at genetic modifications. "Welcome to Nexus Station," Dr. Vance greeted them warmly. "We hope you'll find your stay here enlightening." As they were led through the station, Zara and her team struggled to take in all they were seeing. Holographic interfaces flickered in and out of existence at the slightest gesture. Robots of designs they had never encountered before glided silently alongside humans, engaged in what appeared to be casual conversation. "Dr. Vance," Zara began, trying to maintain her diplomatic composure, "I must admit, Earth has changed somewhat since our last contact." Dr. Vance chuckled, a sound like tinkling crystals. "You could say that, Captain. 3,000 years is a long time, even by galactic standards. We've had ample opportunity to advance our technology and culture." They entered a large, circular room with a dome-like ceiling that seemed to display a real-time view of the space around the station. In the center was a large, oval table that shimmered with an inner light. "Please be seated," Dr. Vance gestured. As they took their places, the table came to life, projecting a detailed holographic map of the galaxy. "Now then," Dr. Vance said, her tone becoming more businesslike, "let's discuss Earth's potential relationship with the Galactic Empire." Zara leaned forward, her antenna twitching with anticipation. "You wish to join the Empire?" Dr. Vance's smile took on an enigmatic quality. "Not exactly, Captain. Isolation has served its purpose, but it's time for humanity to rejoin the galactic community." However, her eyes glinted with an intelligence that made Zora's scales ripple. "We will be doing so on our own terms." Over the next few hours, Dr. Vance outlined Earth's proposals. They wanted to establish a unique partnership with the Empire, one that would grant them access to galactic markets and cultural exchanges, but would also preserve their independence. Most shockingly, they insisted on maintaining their own independent exploration and defense forces. "Surely you understand," Zora sputtered. "These terms are unprecedented. No world in the Empire maintains its own military forces. It goes against every treaty and—" "Captain," Dr. Vance interrupted gently, "I don't think you quite grasped the situation. Allow me to demonstrate something." She closed her eyes for a moment. Suddenly, Zara felt a presence in her mind, warm, vast, and utterly alien. "What you're experiencing now," Dr. Vance said, her eyes still closed, "is a fraction of humanity's collective consciousness. Over the past 3 millennia, we've transcended mere verbal or technological communication. Every human on Earth, and throughout our colonies in the solar system, is connected on a fundamental quantum level." Zara's mind reeled. This was beyond anything in the Empire's experience. "Colonies?" she managed to ask. Dr. Vance opened her eyes and smiled. "Oh yes, we've terraformed and settled every planet and major moon in our system. Mars, Venus, Europa, Titan, all now support thriving human populations." The implications were staggering. If what Dr. Vance said was true, humanity's population and resources dwarfed those of many imperial sectors combined. I will need to consult with the Imperial Council," Zara said weakly. "Of course," Dr. Vance nodded. "Take all the time you need. In the meantime, would you like a tour of some of our facilities? I'm sure you're curious about our technological advancements." As they stood to leave the conference room, Dr. Vance added casually, "Oh, and Captain, we're holding a little demonstration in a few days. An unveiling, you might say, of some of our more impressive achievements. We'd be honored if you and your team would attend." Zara nodded, her mind still struggling to process everything she had learned. As she followed Dr. Vance out of the room, she couldn't shake the feeling that the arrival of her modest scout ship might just be remembered as the most significant event in Imperial history. The balance of power in the galaxy had shifted, and nothing would ever be the same again. The true nature of humanity's impressive achievements remained to be seen, but Zara had a feeling that the upcoming demonstration would redefine the very concept of advanced civilization for the entire galaxy. The revelation. The days following the initial contact passed in a blur for Captain Zora Vox and her crew. They were given a whirlwind tour of Earth's orbital facilities, each more mind-bending than the last. They saw quantum computers that could simulate entire universes, medical facilities that could regrow limbs in hours, and energy production systems that harnessed the power of artificial singularities. But it was the casual demonstration of technologies long thought impossible that truly unsettled Zara. Teleportation, manipulation of gravity, even limited forms of precognition. Humanity wielded these abilities as casually as the Empire used comlinks. On the morning of the promised demonstration, Zara stood in her quarters aboard the Celestial Seeker, smoothing her scales nervously. A chime at her door interrupted her ruminations. "Enter," she called out. The door slid open to reveal Dr. Ilara Vance, Earth's chief diplomat. As always, she exuded an aura of serene confidence that both reassured and unsettled Zara. "Good morning, Captain," Ilara said with a warm smile. "I hope I'm not interrupting." Zara composed herself, straightening her uniform. "Not at all, Dr. Vance. How may I assist you?" "Actually," Ilara replied, her eyes twinkling with excitement, "I'm here to invite you on a little excursion. We thought you might appreciate a first-hand look at some of our off-world colonies before the main demonstration." Zara's compound eyes widened. "Off-world colonies? You mean?" "A tour of our solar system," Ilara finished for her. "Nothing too extensive. Just a quick jaunt to Mars, the Jovian moons, and perhaps a peek at our Kuiper Belt operations. We'll have you back in plenty of time for the main event." Zara's mind reeled at the casual way Ilara proposed crossing billions of kilometers. In the Empire, such a journey would take weeks, even with the fastest ships. And how long would this quick jaunt take, Dr. Vance? Ilara checked a holographic display that shimmered into existence above her wrist. "Oh, accounting for time at each stop. Shall we say 6 hours?" 6 hours. Zara felt her knees weaken slightly. "I see. And our mode of transportation?" Ilara's smile widened. "Oh, I think you'll find it quite interesting. Shall we say departure in 1 hour? Feel free to bring any of your team you'd like." An hour later, Zara found herself standing in a vast circular chamber deep within one of Earth's orbital stations. She was accompanied by her chief science officer, a spindly Alorian named Vex, and her cultural attaché, an empathic luminant called Zara. Dr. Vance stood nearby, along with a small team of human scientists and what appeared to be their AI assistants. "Welcome to the Nexus," Ilara announced. "This is the hub of our solar transportation network." Vex's antennae quivered with excitement. Fascinating. Some form of teleportation network, perhaps, or a series of stabilized wormholes. One of the human scientists, a young man with glowing circuitry visible just beneath his skin, chuckled. "Close, but not quite. We call it the probability drive. Well, perhaps it's easier to show you." He gestured, and the floor beneath their feet became transparent. Zara gasped. Below them, stretching as far as the eye could see, was a vast machine. Countless crystalline structures pulsed with energy, forming ever-shifting patterns that hurt the eyes to look at directly. "The probability drive," Ilara explained, "doesn't move us through space in the conventional sense. Instead, it shifts probability itself, making it overwhelmingly likely that we will simply be at our destination." Zara, the Luminan, spoke up, her voice tinged with awe and a hint of fear. "You're manipulating the fundamental laws of reality." In a manner of speaking, Ilara nodded. "Don't worry, it's perfectly safe. We've been using this technology for over 1,000 years. Before Zara could fully process the implications of this, the human scientist called out, "We're ready to depart. First stop, Mars. Everyone ready?" Zara wanted to protest that no, she most certainly was not ready, but before she could speak, there was a subtle shift in the air, a sensation of movement without moving, a blink that lasted an eternity and no time at all. And then, through the transparent floor, Zara saw the red surface of Mars rushing up to meet them. The next 6 hours were a blur of wonders and impossibilities. They walked the lush, terraformed surface of Mars, where towering cities of crystal and light housed billions of humans. They visited the underwater civilizations of Europa, where genetically modified humans swam alongside creatures that defied description. In the swirling storms of Jupiter's upper atmosphere, they saw vast living ships that served as both habitats and research stations. Each stop brought new marvels. On Titan, they witnessed quantum forges that could create any element or compound on demand. In the Kuiper Belt, they saw automated mining operations that harvested resources from comets and asteroids with ruthless efficiency. But it was their final stop that truly drove home the scale of humanity's achievement. As they materialized in an observation dome at the very edge of the solar system, Zara found herself face to face with a structure that dwarfed anything she had ever seen. A vast, gleaming sphere surrounded the sun, capturing nearly all of its energy output. Countless ships and stations swarmed around it like insects around a globe of light. "The Dyson swarm," Ilara said quietly, watching the awe on the faces of her guests. "The culmination of 1,000 years of work. It provides power for our entire civilization and serves as the backbone of our computational network." Zara stared at the megastructure, her mind struggling to comprehend its scale. In that moment, she understood with perfect clarity that the Galactic Empire was utterly, hopelessly outmatched. Humanity hadn't just caught up to the galaxy in their 3,000 years of isolation. They had surpassed it in ways that beggared belief. As they prepared to return to Earth for the main demonstration, Zara found her voice at last. "Dr. Vance," she said, her tone a mixture of awe and trepidation, "why are you showing us all this? Surely you must realize the impact this will have on the Empire." Ilara's expression turned serious. "Because, Captain, what you've seen today is just the beginning. The demonstration we're about to show you, well, let's just say it will change the course of galactic history." They rematerialized in the Nexus on Earth, and Ilara led them to a vast amphitheater filled with humans and a smattering of alien dignitaries. At the center was a raised platform, upon which stood an object shrouded in shimmering energy. As they took their seats, a hush fell over the crowd. A distinguished-looking human with silver hair and piercing blue eyes stepped up to a podium. "Honored guests," he began, his voice resonating throughout the chamber, "I am Dr. Aaron Voss, Chief of Earth's Scientific Council. What we are about to reveal to you today represents the pinnacle of human achievement, the culmination of 3 millennia of uninterrupted scientific advancement." He paused, his gaze sweeping across the audience. "For too long, we have been bound by the laws of physics as we understood them. Today, we break those chains." With a gesture, the shroud of energy dissipated, revealing nothing, or rather what appeared to be a perfectly spherical absence of light, hovering above the platform. "Behold," Dr. Voss announced, his voice filled with pride, "the Void Engine, a device capable of manipulating the very fabric of space-time itself." As Zara watched, slack-jawed, the sphere of darkness began to expand, engulfing the platform. Then, impossibly, a ship emerged from within it, but it was unlike any ship Zara had ever seen. Its hull seemed to shift and flow like liquid metal, its shape constantly adapting and changing. "This," Dr. Voss continued, "is the Proteus-class exploration vessel, capable of traversing not just our universe, but the very multiverse itself. With this technology, we can access parallel realities, explore alternate timelines, and harness energies beyond imagination. The implications hit Zara like a physical blow. If humanity could travel between universes at will, there was no limit to what they could achieve. No resource would be beyond their reach, no knowledge unattainable. As the demonstration concluded, and the audience erupted into applause, Zara turned to Ilara, her voice barely above a whisper. "What happens now?" Ilara's expression was both kind and resolute. "Now, Captain, we reshape the galaxy. The age of the Empire is over. The era of humanity has begun." As Zara looked back at the void engine and the impossible ship it had birthed, she knew that the universe as she had known it would never be the same again. The future, vast and unknowable, stretched out before them all. Diplomatic tensions, the revelation of humanity's void engine, and the Proteus-class ship sent shockwaves through the Galactic Empire. As news spread, reactions ranged from awe and excitement to fear and outright hostility. Captain Zara Vox found herself at the center of a diplomatic storm, tasked with relaying Earth's intentions to an increasingly anxious Imperial High Command. In the days following the demonstration, Zara spent countless hours in secure communications with her superiors, struggling to convey the sheer scale of humanity's advancements. The Empire's response was swift. A delegation of their highest-ranking officials would arrive within the week to begin formal negotiations with Earth. As the Imperial flagship Eternal Dominion dropped out of hyperspace near Earth's orbit, Zara stood on the observation deck of Nexus Station, watching the massive vessel approach. Despite its imposing size and sleek design, she couldn't help but see it as almost quaint compared to the wonders she'd witnessed in the past few days. "Impressive, isn't it?" Dr. Ilara Vance's voice came from behind her. "At least it would have been, not so long ago." Zara turned to face the human diplomat. "Dr. Vance, I must warn you. The Empire isn't accustomed to being outmatched. This situation is unprecedented." Ilara's smile was enigmatic. "History is full of unprecedented situations, Captain. That's how progress is made." The docking procedures were carried out with meticulous precision, and soon the Imperial delegation was making its way through the station. At their head strode Grand Admiral Thax, a towering draconian whose scales gleamed with a metallic sheen. His cold, reptilian eyes swept over the assembled human greeting party with barely concealed disdain. "Welcome to Earth, Grand Admiral," Ilara said, stepping forward. "We're honored by your presence." Thax's forked tongue flicked out briefly. "Let us dispense with pleasantries, human. We are here to discuss the terms of your integration into the Empire." A ripple of tension passed through the human officials. Ilara's smile never wavered, but Zara noticed a dangerous glint in her eyes. "Perhaps," Ilara replied smoothly, "we should move this discussion to more comfortable surroundings. If you'll follow me." The delegation was led to a vast conference room with a breathtaking view of Earth below. As they took their seats, holographic displays sprang to life, showing detailed schematics of human technology and their solar system installations. Grand Admiral Thax leaned forward, his clawed hands steepled before him. "Let me be clear, Dr. Vance. The Empire has stood for 10,000 years. We have brought peace and stability to countless worlds. Your advancements, while impressive, do not change the fundamental order of the galaxy." Ilara's response was calm but firm. "With respect, Grand Admiral, I believe they do. Humanity has no desire for conflict, but neither will we submit to rule by an outside force. We propose a partnership of equals, with free exchange of knowledge and technology." Thax's scales bristled. "Unacceptable. The Empire does not partner. It rules. Your technology will be integrated into our military, and Earth will be granted a position of honor within our hierarchy." The temperature in the room seemed to drop several degrees. Ilara's eyes narrowed slightly. "I'm afraid that won't be possible, Grand Admiral. Perhaps a demonstration of our capabilities would help you understand our position better." Before Thax could respond, the holographic displays shifted. They now showed a real-time view of space near Jupiter. As the Imperial delegation watched, a void engine portal shimmered into existence. From it emerged not one, but a fleet of Proteus-class ships, their liquid metal hulls morphing and adapting as they moved. This, Ilara explained, her voice taking on a harder edge, is but a fraction of our defensive capabilities. We have ships stationed in multiple realities, ready to respond to any threat from any universe. Grand Admiral Thax's face contorted with a mixture of rage and fear. This is an act of war. You dare threaten the Empire. Ilara's expression remained neutral. Not a threat. Grand Admiral. A statement of fact. We have no desire for conflict, but we will defend our independence if necessary. The tension in the room was palpable. Several of the Imperial officials were visibly shaken, their eyes darting between the holographic displays and their leader. Zara, watching from the sidelines, felt a chill run down her spine. She had seen firsthand what humanity was capable of. If it came to war, the Empire wouldn't stand a chance. Grand Admiral Thax rose abruptly, his chair screeching against the floor. This meeting is adjourned. We will convey your position to the Emperor. But know this, humans, the Empire does not take kindly to threats. You may have your advanced technology, but we have numbers. We have 1 million worlds under our banner. Do not think this is over. As the Imperial delegation stormed out, Ilara turned to Zara, her expression grave. I'm sorry you had to witness that, Captain. We truly don't want conflict, but we won't compromise our principles. Zara nodded slowly. I understand, Dr. Vance, but I fear the Empire may not be so understanding. What happens now? Ilara's gaze turned to the holographic display, where the Proteus-class ships were effortlessly maneuvering through Jupiter's turbulent atmosphere. Now we prepare. The Empire has ruled unopposed for too long. Change is coming, whether they're ready for it or not. Over the next few days, tensions continued to escalate. The Eternal Dominion remained in orbit, a looming presence that served as a constant reminder of the Empire's reach. Meanwhile, Earth continued to showcase its technological marvels, each demonstration serving as both an olive branch and a veiled warning. Zara found herself caught in the middle, trying to bridge the gap between two vastly different civilizations. She arranged meetings between human scientists and Imperial technicians, hoping that a better understanding of Earth's advancements might ease the Empire's fears. But with each passing day, it became increasingly clear that a peaceful resolution was slipping away. The Empire, faced with a power it couldn't control or intimidate, was growing desperate. And a desperate empire, Zara knew, was a dangerous one. As she stood on the observation deck of Nexus Station, watching Earth rotate slowly below, Zara couldn't shake the feeling that she was witnessing the calm before a storm. The fate of the galaxy hung in the balance, and the actions of both humanity and the Empire in the coming days would shape the course of history for millennia to come. The question that weighed heavily on her mind was, would it be a future of unprecedented cooperation and advancement, or would it be marred by a war that could tear the very fabric of reality apart? As if in answer to her unspoken question, an alert klaxon suddenly blared throughout the station. Zara's communication device buzzed urgently. The message that flashed across its screen made her blood run cold. Imperial Fleet DT-KT-80. Multiple hyperspace Sci-Fi incoming. All Purusonennial to battle stations. The storm, it seemed, had arrived. Battle of the Void. The space around Earth erupted into chaos as thousands of Imperial warships tore out of hyperspace. Their sleek, predatory forms blotted out the stars, a vast armada poised to strike at the heart of humanity's domain. Aboard Nexus Station, alarms blared incessantly. Captain Zara Vox raced through crowded corridors, her scales rippling with a mix of fear and anticipation. She burst onto the station's command center to find Dr. Ilara Vance calmly issuing orders, her silver hair gleaming under the pulsing red emergency lights. Dr. Vance. Zara called out. What's happening? Surely the Empire wouldn't. It seems they would, Captain, Ilara interrupted, her voice tinged with disappointment. It appears Grand Admiral Fax convinced the Emperor that a preemptive strike was necessary. The main view screen showed a tactical display of the solar system. The Imperial fleet had split into multiple battle groups, targeting not just Earth, but Mars, the Jovian colonies, and even the distant Kuiper Belt outposts. "This is madness," Zara breathed. "Even with their numbers, they must know they can't win against your technology." Ilara's expression hardened. "Perhaps, but it seems they'd rather destroy us than risk losing their dominion." She turned to a nearby console, her fingers dancing across the holographic interface. "Initiating Aegis Protocol. All civilian centers. Activate your shields. Void Engine Defense Grid online." Zara watched in awe as shimmering energy fields sprang into existence around Earth and every human colony in the system. Simultaneously, hundreds of Void Engine portals winked into existence, disgorging swarms of the shape-shifting Proteus-class ships. The battle erupted almost immediately. The Imperial fleet opened fire, their energy weapons and torpedoes streaking across space in dazzling displays of destructive power. But the human defenses held firm. The Aegis shields absorbed or deflected the attacks with ease, while the Proteus ships darted and weaved through the Imperial formation with impossible agility. "Remarkable," Zara murmured, her scientist's mind marveling at the display despite the gravity of the situation. "Your ships, they're adapting in real time to the Imperial attacks." Ilara nodded, a hint of pride in her voice. "The Proteus-class vessels are connected to our quantum network. They learn and evolve with each engagement, sharing information across the entire fleet instantaneously." On the view screen, Zara watched as a squad of Proteus ships approached an Imperial dreadnought. Their liquid metal hulls morphed, sprouting an array of weapons that hadn't existed moments before. They fired in perfect synchronization, their energy beams bypassing the dreadnought's shields as if they weren't even there. The massive Imperial ships split apart like tissue paper. "How?" Zara began, but Ilara anticipated her question. "Multiversal harmonics," she explained. "Our weapons are calibrated to frequencies that exist outside this universe's standard laws of physics. Conventional defenses are useless against them." As the battle raged on, it quickly became apparent that the Imperial fleet, despite its overwhelming numbers, was hopelessly outmatched. Proteus ships phased in and out of reality, striking from impossible angles. Void engine portals opened in the midst of Imperial formations, swallowing entire squadrons and depositing them light years away. But it was at Jupiter that the true extent of humanity's power was revealed. As a massive Imperial battle group approached the gas giant, intent on destroying the human colonies in its orbit, the planet itself seemed to come alive. Massive tentacles of super-compressed gas erupted from Jupiter's swirling storms, ensnaring Imperial ships and crushing them like insects. "The Jupiter mind," Ilara said, noting Zara's shocked expression. "A planetary-scale artificial intelligence, integrated with the gas giant itself. One of our more ambitious projects." Zara's mind reeled at the implications. If humanity could turn entire planets into weapons, what hope did the Empire have? Hours passed, and the tide of battle shifted decisively in humanity's favor. Imperial ships were being destroyed or disabled faster than they could regroup. Those that attempted to flee found their hyperdrives mysteriously malfunctioning, trapping them in normal space. Finally, a transmission cut through the chaos. Grand Admiral Fax's face appeared on the main screen, his scales pale with fear and rage. "This is impossible," he snarled. "No civilization could have advanced this far. You've made a deal with dark powers, consorted with entities from beyond." Ilara's reply was cool and measured. "The only power we've consorted with, Admiral, is the power of human ingenuity and determination. You left us alone for 3,000 years, and we used that time wisely. Now I suggest you order your remaining forces to stand down before more lives are needlessly lost." Fax's eyes bulged, his composure finally cracking. "Never. We'll fight to the last ship, the last soldier. The Empire will never submit to." His transmission cut off abruptly as a void engine portal opened behind his flagship, swallowing it whole. Ilara sighed, a hint of sadness in her eyes. "I truly hoped it wouldn't come to this." She turned to her staff. "Initiate Operation Starbreak. It's time to end this." Zara watched in stunned silence as new portals began to open throughout the solar system. But these were different, vast, and shimmering with energies she couldn't comprehend. Through them poured ships and structures that dwarfed even the largest Imperial vessels. Some seemed to be made of pure energy, others defied description entirely, their forms hurting Zora's eyes to look upon. What are those?" she managed to ask. "Our reserves," Ilara replied simply. "Drawn from alternate timelines where humanity has existed for millions of years. We had hoped not to reveal them, but the Admiral left us no choice." The battle, if it could still be called that, was over in minutes. The remaining Imperial ships were neutralized, their crews teleported safely to containment facilities throughout the solar system. As the last echoes of weapons fire faded, an eerie silence fell over the command center. Zara turned to Ilara, her voice barely above a whisper. "What happens now?" Ilara's gaze was fixed on the viewscreen, where the impossible ships from humanity's alternate futures were already beginning to vanish back through their portals. "Now," she said, her voice filled with quiet determination, "we reshape the galaxy. The age of the Empire is over. The era of humanity has begun." As Zara looked out at the debris-strewn battlefield, she knew that the universe as she had known it would never be the same again. The future, vast and unknowable, stretched out before them all. A new era dawns. In the weeks following the Battle of the Void, the galaxy held its breath. The defeat of the Galactic Empire's vast armada by Earth's forces sent shockwaves through every inhabited world. As news spread of humanity's incredible technological advancements and their victory over the previously undefeated Imperial fleet, the balance of power shifted dramatically. Captain Zora Vox found herself in an unprecedented position. As one of the few non-humans to have witnessed Earth's rise firsthand, she became a key figure in the transition. Her reports to what remained of the Imperial hierarchy were met with disbelief, fear, and, increasingly, a grudging respect for humanity's achievements. On a crisp morning, 30 days after the battle, Zara stood beside Dr. Ilara Vance in a vast auditorium on Mars. Representatives from thousands of worlds across the former empire had gathered, their diverse forms filling the tiered seats. The tension in the air was palpable. Ilara stepped forward to the podium, her silver hair gleaming under the lights. Her voice, amplified by unseen technology, rang out clear and strong. "Esteemed delegates, citizens of the galaxy, I stand before you today not as a conqueror, but as a harbinger of change. Humanity has emerged from its long isolation, not to subjugate, but to elevate. We extend to you not an ultimatum, but an invitation." The assembled beings murmured among themselves, a mix of hope and apprehension rippling through the crowd. "For too long," Ilara continued, "the galaxy has stagnated under the weight of Imperial rule. Progress was stifled, innovation discouraged. But no longer. We propose a new galactic order, one built on cooperation, shared knowledge, and mutual advancement." With a gesture, Ilara activated a holographic display that filled the air above the delegates. It showed a network of shimmering lines connecting various worlds, with Earth at the center. "Behold, the Cosmic Concordat, a new alliance that will usher in an unprecedented era of growth and discovery. Each world that joins will gain access to a portion of our technology, tailored to their specific needs and level of development. In return, we ask only for open cultural exchange and a commitment to peaceful coexistence." The display shifted, showing glimpses of the wonders humanity had developed. Tyson swarms harnessing the power of suns, terraforming technologies that could make barren worlds lush and habitable, medical advancements that could extend lifespans and cure diseases thought incurable. But this is merely the beginning, Ilara said, her voice filled with passion. With the Void engine, we have unlocked the doors to the multiverse. Infinite realities await exploration, countless alternate Earths, each with their own unique advancements, stand ready to share their knowledge. Together, we can push the boundaries of what's possible, venturing into realms once thought to be the domain of gods. As Ilara spoke, Zara watched the faces of the delegates. She saw fear give way to wonder, suspicion melt into curiosity. The promise of a future unbound by the limitations they had known all their lives was intoxicating. But let me be clear, Ilara's tone grew serious. While we offer this hand in friendship, we are prepared to defend this new order. The Battle of the Void demonstrated our capabilities. We do not seek conflict, but neither will we allow the flames of progress to be extinguished. The choice, honored delegates, is yours. Will you join us in forging a brighter future for all sentient beings? The auditorium erupted in a cacophony of voices, some cheering, others arguing heatedly. Ilara stepped back from the podium, turning to Zara with a small smile. "And so it begins," she said softly. Zara nodded, her mind whirling with the implications. "It's overwhelming," she admitted. "The changes your people will bring. Not everyone will embrace them easily." "Change is never easy," Ilara agreed. "But it is necessary. The galaxy has been static for too long. It's time for a new age of wonders." Over the following months, Zara watched as world after world signed the Cosmic Concordat. The former empire fractured, with some worlds clinging desperately to the old ways, while others eagerly embraced the promised advancements. Earth kept its word. Fleets of Proteus-class ships, now reconfigured for peaceful purposes, spread throughout the galaxy. They brought with them miraculous technologies, clean energy sources that ended resource wars, medical nanites that cured plagues, terraforming engines that breathed life into dead worlds. But it wasn't just technology that humanity shared. Earth opened its doors, welcoming visitors from across the cosmos. Zara found herself serving as a cultural attaché, helping aliens navigate the complexities of human society. She watched in amazement as humans formed deep bonds with beings utterly unlike themselves, their innate curiosity and adaptability allowing them to bridge gaps that had seemed insurmountable. Yet, as Ilara had predicted, not all accepted the new order peacefully. Remnants of the Imperial fleet, led by hardliners unwilling to relinquish power, launched desperate attacks. But each time, they were met by humanity's multiversal allies, ships piloted by alternate versions of humanity, some so advanced as to be nearly incomprehensible, easily neutralized these threats. 5 years after the Battle of the Void, Zara stood on the observation deck of Nexus Station, gazing out at the bustling activity around Earth. Ships of every conceivable design zipped back and forth, carrying delegates, scientists, and explorers from 1,000 worlds. In orbit, the first segments of a new Dyson swarm were taking shape, a gift from humanity to power the burgeoning galactic civilization. "Quite a view, isn't it?" Ilara's voice came from behind her. The human diplomat joined her at the window, her eyes reflecting the starlight. "It's incredible," Zara admitted. "Sometimes I still can't believe how much has changed." Ilara nodded. "And yet, we've only scratched the surface. Our scientists have detected ripples from other dimensions, entire universes waiting to be explored. The Void engine is being recalibrated to breach these new frontiers." Zara turned to her, eyes wide. "You mean?" "Yes," Ilara smiled, a glint of excitement in her eyes. "We're assembling the first interdimensional expedition, a joint mission with representatives from every member world of the Concordat, and we'd like you to be part of it, Zara. Your experience, your unique perspective, would be invaluable." Zara felt a thrill run through her, the chance to explore not just new worlds, but entirely new realities. It was beyond anything she had ever dreamed. I would be honored, she managed to say. As they turned back to the window, watching a void engine portal shimmer into existence, disgorging the ship of impossible geometry, Zara felt a sense of limitless possibility. The universe, no, the multiverse, stretched out before them, vast and mysterious, and waiting to be discovered. The era of humanity had indeed begun, but it was an era that promised to lift all sentient beings to heights undreamed of. As the stars twinkled in the void, Zara knew that the greatest adventure in the history of all realities was just beginning.